The God of the Bible is unlike any other God in human history. He doesn't even compare. Okay? The only God that would come close it would be the God of Judaism, because they're claiming to follow the Old Testament. But then they disobey God's progressive revelation in Jesus Christ. They refuse to believe that Jesus is the Messiah. Okay? But we can show that in their abandoning God's progressive revelation in Jesus Christ, that they've now adopted a misconception of the God of the Old Testament, because now their God is simply not a perfect one, because he can't be love for all of eternity. He can't be a maximally great God because he's not fully personal.
The thing I think that's unique about Christianity is that our salvation doesn't depend on like our moral integrity or any like good works that we do. It's like totally dependent upon God, and that it takes it out of our hands, and it humbles us. Whereas if salvation was dependent on my works or something, I could develop like an arrogant attitude and think I'm better than other people and stuff.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, wouldn't it be better to earn that title than to just say, like, I'm gonna lay on my couch all day and, like, drink and beat my wife, and Jesus
It's
died for
What do
my
you mean?
sins, so I'm fine.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Earn
well
that title?
because I think
No, what
we
I'm saying
want to
is,
earn things. We don't like to get free gifts, so it goes against like our
no,
nature
that's
to
not
get
what
a
I'm
free gift.
saying. Yeah, you're right about that in a way, but, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, if I was a Christian, and is this a right way to maybe form a thought or a belief that maybe some Christians do whatever they want and then think Jesus died for me anyway, so who cares?
Well, that's not the attitude. I think what you need to understand is that type of question or objection usually arises because I don't think you have a sufficient understanding of the nature of salvation. In the doctrine of salvation, excuse me, um, when Christians become a believer, they're born again and they're given a new nature, right? They're the same person, but now they have a new nature. So while they remain in the body, they have the old and the new nature, and we are commanded to feed the new nature and starve the old nature. But the old nature will be with us, and so there's this ongoing battle as Christians between the old and the new nature. Okay, so the difference between the Christian and the non-Christian is that the Christian still has that old nature, right? So you're not going to have them where they're totally inclined away from God, right? Anyway, um,
So,
so
so
yeah,
to
go
some
ahead.
extent, sorry. So to some extent, Shay, I think that humans have this psychological position where you can have something good in your life, and I'm not a theist, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, one way to understand this might be where because we have certain types of psychologies that only allow us to experience happiness if we are conscious, if we're conscious of the things that we have, such that we are grateful, right? Then it might
Well,
be the case for that type of reason, you it's not so much that you earn something, but if you if you realize a certain way of uh, how you arrive at certain things in your life, having that sort of awareness and having that sort of gratitude, I suppose, is going to give you the sense that you've earned something, even though you may or may not have actually earned it. It might be like a psychological thing.
So,
well,
like, would you say
the
that?
problem, hold on. The problem with what you're saying is that you can make certain generalizations and categorizations within the Christian worldview because God, who creates all the particulars, also imposes that there are certain instances of commonality and categoryness. When you invoke categoryness or correlativeness, as you have said, in a not God world, What is it that makes the categoryness real? If it's not God, what makes the categoryness real as opposed to that these are simply cosmic doppelgangers?
Well, yeah, for sure. But then even
I'm
with that
asking
logic, oh, I didn't
Elise.
know that.
See,
Can
if
you
an
repeat the
atheist,
question, Darth? Yeah.
yeah, in the in the Christian worldview, we have God who is the creator and who imposes that there are categories of things, and the categories are real as opposed to an illusion. When you generalize about certain states of affairs, in both physical things and human things, what is it that makes the categoryness of things being the same real?
So I'm going to respond in this kind of way. First, I'm going to define the term God as being um, the mind. And I'm going to say that the mind is the creator of all things, conceptually speaking, not materially. And then I'm going to also define reality as being something that's hybrid. So it basically it's a conceptualization about something in the external world or experience of the external world. So now that being said, I'm going to say that there might be an external world that's there as a brute fact, but until we conceptualize it in a particular way, it is not real under my definition of reality. And so, addressing what you're saying here,
So
so
everything
it
you
might
just
be the
said is
case.
fiction?
No, no, no. So to address what you're saying
Okay.
here,
Okay.
it might be the
Okay.
case that
So, okay. All I want to know is what you just said, does it constitute fiction?
no. So if there is a
Okay.
state of
So
affairs that,
in your nonfiction world, are there any two or more discrete states that are categorically the same?
um, they're not going to be identical, although there may be properties that
That's not that. No,
are similar.
I'm saying that they share the same category. They're dogs and trees and water. You talk
Yes,
about
yes, there
categories of
are.
humanness.
Yes,
Okay.
those are
Okay.
mental constructs. Yeah,
Now, are those categories real or are they illusory?
they're real under my definition of reality, where I said that they are mental
No. I'm not talking.
constructs.
No, I'm talking about when you talk about these things external to yourself, dogs and trees and humans, and the way humans think or behave, or the way dogs behave, whatever. Are those categories of things real, or are they just simply a mental illusion?
It's not a mental illusion, but the con. So I want to keep the
Okay,
concept.
so the categories are real. Now, what makes them real?
The categories are mental constructs. The categories, um,
No. You just told me that the categories are real. They're not merely a fiction of the mind. Are the categories of sameness that there are two atoms? Okay, are there two
so
things that are atoms?
so so I defined
Are
reality
there two
as
things on
something
this planet?
hybrid.
Are there two things? Listen to me. Where you live, are there two things that are dogs?
There can be many particular things that are
No,
dogs, yes.
Alid, you are persistently evading my simple and clear questions. Where you live, are there two things that are dogs?
I don't know if I understand your question, but yes, I think so.
Okay, now is the dogness real? That is characteristic of each of those two things?
The dogness is not real in and of itself.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're speaking fiction. Then it's all illusory.
No, it's not.
Are you a nominalist? Are you a nominalist?
I'm not a nominalist, I'm a conceptualist.
Okay, so the dogness is not real.
It it's not real under my definition of what real
Okay,
is.
then what does so then when you talk about the two dogs playing in my front yard, okay, what does the dogness refer to if it's not real?
So
What's in your front yard then?
yeah, so the dogness in itself, by itself, is a mental construct, and that mental construct is
Oh,
intended
okay.
to refer to something. Let me finish. is intended to refer to something that I experience about the external world. And
So in
that
other words,
combination is what
when a
reality
female
is.
dog gives birth to a litter, is she giving birth to dogs?
I'm going to say, in general, yes, although there may be
Okay, so
mutations.
dog,
Yeah.
so each of those things that are squinting around and wiggling around are in some way characteristically or categorically a dog,
So
right?
Darth, to maybe I mean, if you're trying to get at
This
this,
is
I'm
not
not a
complicated
Platonist.
here.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, but I have
The
a
fact.
certain
You see,
ontological.
I've had this problem with you before.
This is fine, but
You go
you're
up
gonna
into
have
this
to
you
understand,
go up
yeah,
you
my
go
view,
up.
which
No,
is
I had
not
this problem with you
going to be the
before. Okay,
standard view that you have. Yeah.
the I want to all I want to know is the categoryness that you invoke
No,
of
it's
things,
not in
dogs and
itself. It is
trees.
not real.
Oh, okay. So then all you're just simply doing is you're giving the same label to things that don't actually share anything in terms of actual ontological categoryness. Do you know what I mean by ontological categoryness?
Yes, I do, but there's two
Okay.
ways for something to
Are there
exist.
are there are there are there two or more discrete things that share an real ontological categoryness?
Yes, there are.
Okay. Now, what makes that real?
My mind.
No. You're not understanding this, okay?
I am
I said
understanding, and I'm trying to
ontological.
answer
No, your
your
mind,
questions.
listen to me. Listen to me. Your mind, if we have two bridges, okay? They each are ontologically bridges. Your mind does not institute and secure the ontology of each of the bridges. Your mind might appropriate or believe or assign that those two things possess the ontology of bridgeness, but your mind doesn't impose the ontology. So I'm asking you again:
It
are the
does,
two
Darth. That's
bridges?
what I'm saying.
Okay, then you are basically then a nominalist. Therefore, these
No, I'm not a
categories are
nominalist. I'm a
illusory.
substance dualist.
Okay, okay, listen to me. You see, I've had this problem in talking with you before. You don't focus on what's putting. Are there any ontological sameness? Okay, if all human beings died tomorrow, okay, would there be two or more things that would be ontologically planets?
So if there were no more possibility of rational
If
minds like
if
ours,
if
then no.
every if
The answer
no
is
no
no,
I
Darth.
didn't say that. I didn't say other rational minds.
Sure,
I
yeah,
said if every human being were to die on this planet in the next 10 seconds, okay? 20 seconds from now, would there be two things called planets, Earth and Venus, that are ontologically planets? Would
no,
the
no. The
ontology of
answer
their
is no.
planets exist?
No.
Okay, then ontology is just simply a construct of the mind. So the ontology of categoryness doesn't actually exist other than in the mind of a perceiver. Is that your position?
So yes, but I do think that
Okay,
the mental construct, hold on.
then we
You
can
spoke
stop
at
then.
length. Hold on,
Then we
Darth.
can stop
I
then.
just
You've
want to explain
answered
my
my
position.
question.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So
you're very argumentative.
no,
Okay,
I'm not
the bottom
argumentative.
line here
I
is
have a clear
yeah
view
you are.
of a
I've talked
position
with
that I
you
hold,
before. I've
and
talked
you
with
are
you
trying to project
before.
your
All right,
view onto
get
mine.
out of here. Get out of here. I've dealt with her before. She's very argumentative. So in other words, get a load of this. The ontological categoryness of Earth and Venus, in her view, its ontology, its nature of being, will cease to exist when all human consciousness dies out or ends in the next 10 seconds, were that to happen. So that means that ontology doesn't reside within the entities in question, right? that ontology is just
All
simply
right,
a
do not kick
concept
me
in the
out from the
human
room
mind.
like that again. Okay.
Okay, no, get out of here. Don't bring her back up again. Okay, she's so argumentative.
Hey,
I
Darth.
mean,
Yeah,
she refuses to see the glaring problem. Okay, ontology is not something that something possesses. Ontology is just how you think of something. It doesn't actually reside in the thing in question. All right. So in other words, when we talk about dogs and trees and birds and planets, these things don't actually exist. They're just simply constructs of human minds. But then, but wait a minute. What is a mind in her world? Okay, since there's no God, okay, from which minds to emanate from, what is a mind? How do you get minds in a not God world? From whence comes a state of rationality? Okay,
yeah, Darth. It's like
this is the
they just want to
foolishness
give
of her.
him.
Yeah. By the way, she's not. Look, I'm not trying to be mean. She's just an argumentative person. She thinks she knows more than she does. So, in other words, I'm talking about the ontological status of an entity. Okay, right? What she says is the ontological status is only real is if there is a human mind to conceive of it. Okay, so in other words, ontological status is just simply conceptual only and isn't real external to the human thinking. Okay, so prior to there being humans, according to her, since she probably believes in evolution, there was nothing that existed ontologically because there were no minds to conceive of it. So there were no trees or dogs or rabbits or stars before there were humans. How absurd is that?
Darth. I like how Matt Yester would say, because when we're in the rooms with him, and he would say, they just want a free lunch and they just want to give in to them, and don't
Yeah, they
have to,
just want what they want to
involve.
do is they just want to go yada, 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 yada. They just want to talk your ear off. They don't really want to focus as to what we're putting on the table here, okay? That we have two opposing worldviews, right? They claim they do not want to accept the biblical or Christian worldview for insufficient reason or evidentiary support. Yet when it comes to their not Christian worldview, their worldview doesn't measure up to that criterion.